So, first of all, we are so excited to be here with you guys today and provide you more information on your operations. Today, we're going to be talking on some really important subjects. I'm so happy to co-host this webinar with the team over at RoofR. We have Nick. He's going to be introducing himself in just a few slides from now, but really, I just want to set some expectations for all of you. This is going to be a 2-hour webinar focused on education and information. There's very little fluff in it. Everything that I'm going to be discussing today is very practical with you guys. So my goal here today is to provide you with practical, accurate information on operations that you're going to be able to implement on your own and hopefully give you the opportunity to work with us as well. We're going to be giving you some information on RoofR and how their program works. And I have some exciting news. We have a bunch of giveaways lined up for all of you. We have multiple giveaways. If you've ever seen some of our manuals and you've wanted one, this is your chance today to participate. So based on the participation places, we'll be giving away manuals, different things. RoofR has some cool swag lined up as well. So let's get this party started. Just know at any point, anytime you have a question, you can answer it in the chat. If I don't answer it, one of the panelists and additional hosts here will help me get to you guys. So shout out to those numbers on our attendee list keeps climbing. We're at 128. How exciting. Thank you guys for being here today and welcome to the Roofing Operations Masterclass with Business 411 and RoofR. So here's our agenda for these next few hours. We're going to start off with some of our objectives and how this program works. We're going to talk about some basic company foundations you should have in place. And there's going to be some areas there for you guys to participate. And we're going to give you some real life examples. And then we're going to talk about roofing process pain points. And a lot of these pain points are shared between companies who are either just starting up or companies who are doing $30, $40 million a year in revenue. In my experience working with many, many different companies, I've seen some of these issues happen in small and large organizations, and even someone who's doing it all by themselves or someone who might have a team in place. So it's practical information. And then we're going to go into operations and your CRM with Nick from RoofR at the end. So if you do not know me, my name's Elizabeth. I've been in the industry since 2015. I started off with training contractors on technology. And in 2019, I quit and started my company Business 411. Since then, we have been able to train roofing companies all over the country, actually all over the world, because we have some in Canada as well. And so we have Business 411, Marketing 411. The reason I got into this industry was just to start off in sales, but the reason I stayed was because I fell in love with it. I absolutely love roofing. I've studied everything from manufacturing to supply to installation to operations to sales to organization to team training to technology. So I'm really, really excited to be chatting with all of you today and sharing everything that I've learned. I'm going to have Nick hop on and introduce himself as well, so you guys can say hello.
Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Nick. I'm from Roofer here. I'm a roofer myself, so thank you, by the way, for Business 401, Liz, Ariel, Keely, and everybody to bring me on here. Super excited to chat about it. But as a roofer, I've been 20 years on the roof, and then the last 8 selling software with roofers at roofer.com. I started out as a laborer for my dad's company. My dad's in his 30th year of business right now. And then in 2015, I was the first hire here at Roofer, where I started helping roofers sell roofs. We were a marketplace across North America. And from there, we've pivoted into measurements, proposals, a bunch of other stuff with it as well. And we'll go into it. And we've been running the way to talk about process and to bring in CRM focused knowledge, proposals, and everything else with a suite of tools to streamline and scale your business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick, for taking some time out to be here with us today. We're very excited to have you guys here. So, this is a very, very common question that I get asked. What is a 411 roofing systems? What does this mean? So, today I'm going to break it down for you guys and give you all the basic information that you need to know. First of all, the reason why I created 411 Roofing Systems is I went through a journey of consulting for different roofing companies one on one. I traveled the country and went into their offices and wrote processes and protocols with owners and operations managers with companies anywhere from 0 to 25 million. And what I found was there's some very common things that everybody in the industry is doing. There's some very common basic education that doesn't exist in the industry today. So my team and I, we figured out, we're like, look, we need to put this into as many people's hands. We need to give business owners the opportunity to find some of those information that they may need and give them a leg up. We want to help more business owners, not just stay in business, but to succeed and to achieve their goals. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been able to accomplish. We have over 2,000 roofing companies currently using our training manuals. I've had the privilege to consult for over $750 million in roofing revenue. That just means I spent a lot of hours organizing a lot of people's businesses, and I'm so passionate about it. We've had the opportunity to create over 100 different brands. So we've created mascots, logos, you name it, even the mascot that's here pictured. If you saw us in the beginning when we first started, I'm so excited to share some of the new updates we've done, and we've come a long way here at Business 411. We currently design for over 650 companies. So I just wanted to give an opportunity. Who is currently using our content? I love to hear and see how many people are actually using our manuals already on this webinar. Drop a comment, a thumbs up, a smiley face if you're already using our manuals. Wow, we have 170 attendees and more are still joining. You guys, this is going to be the biggest record of attendees we've ever had. Holy moly. So quite a few of you, residential. Oliver, you did not know about our manuals. Oh no, that's going to change today. Christopher from Relentless, Iris from Everest. Nice. Nice. Awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how to develop and share your company vision. We're going to talk about how you can understand your company structure, and most importantly, how to create a process that's repeatable and not just using the processes we've actually designed, but also how to expand on those processes and truly make them yours. And then most importantly, we're going to create action plans for any major pain points. So I encourage you, as I'm going through these processes, as I'm going through the structure and organization, to drop a comment if you want me to expand on something or if you need more support or any help. So how it works is we're going to focus on one process at a time and really dial in. Uh, we only have 2 hours, so I don't have time to go through absolutely everything, but I've highlighted a couple of areas of the business that I think are very, very important. And I have a special offer for you at the end to join us for the 3-day. We have 25% off for all attendees here. So we're going to be sharing that at the end on how you can join our in-person masterclasses. The most important thing, though, to be able to truly take away some information from this and be able to implement this into your company is to just be honest with where you're at in your company to yourself. You don't have to share it on the chat if you don't want to, but understand where are your gaps in your business from where you are today and where you want to be. So let's talk about some of these top issues that are stopping contractors today from actually accomplishing the business that they want. The first is a lack of a documented process for the team to follow. It's hard to scale your team. It's hard to improve processes or understand what's stopping you from achieving that next level if there's no foundation or starting point. Next is there's not a lot of accountability when employee roles are not outlined. Having things crystal clear for sales team members, for operations team members, and for production team members allows for you to be able to hold people accountable. And then having inconsistent jobs, not having the proper onboarding for your clients. So all of these things combined continue to add to some of the breakpoints we've seen. Here's a huge one: margins not being set or maintained during the sales and production process. So let's say your sales rep sells a job, you haven't properly done due diligence, there's no job budget in place. Now the job is built, the materials are over budget, the crew's charging you more. It's important to have processes in place to maintain your profit margins within your set guidelines. And this can range based off of where you're located, depending on your market. But the average that I've seen in the industry is 35 to 45% gross profit. So that means after everything is said and done, the gross profit and then net profit, we're typically seeing anywhere from 10 to 15% at the end of the day. So our goal is to help all of our clients achieve their goals. Some of you might have higher goals than that. Some of you might be lower than that, and you want to achieve that. Next is the sales and the office team not supporting each other. This creates a disconnect between team members, and something that I like to share with every single person I work with is production is not a one-person job. Production is executing the scope of work. So that's what production, the actual definition of it, should mean for your team. And executing the scope of work starts off with properly inspecting the job, estimating it correctly, and then bringing it to through operations, outlining things, setting a job budget, making sure that that job stays within margin, and building it correctly and making sure that homeowner is happy at the end of it. And then that creates a lot of sales communication fall off or just fall off with the homeowner sometimes, especially with my clients who are dealing with more insurance work. There's sometimes a very long, prolonged process with dealing with the insurance company from the time the property owner maybe meets a sales rep for the first time to the roof being installed. So comment yes if you have any of these issues. Literally, I totally get it. Don't feel alone. Like, this is not just you. There's so many people struggling out there today, and there is solutions. There's no magic formula. It's just basic organization that you need to have in place. The last, but certainly not the least, is a lack of team training on how to handle advanced issues and resolve conflicts. So if your team is not empowered to troubleshoot issues as an owner, you're going to have to step in quite a bit, maybe more than you even want to. So those are some of the things that we've seen. Now, I want to take a moment to hear from you. This is going to help me help you. What is something you really want to learn today? What's something you're struggling in your process that if this was fixed, you feel like you could finally get that breath of fresh air, you could finally breathe and get your business to the next level? What's something you really want to learn? What's something you really want to be able to walk away and implement? Have you heard something so far that was like, wow, I could really relate to that? That's something I need to work on. So we'll take a second. Remember, we do the giveaways based off participation, so keep participating, and you have your chance to win a prize with us. Carly says, hiring from Royal Construction. Very true. 20 or more superstar project managers. Jason, that's such a great point, though. It's, what does a superstar project manager mean to you? What does that mean to you, right? Christopher, having good onboarding. Blake says, having good communication, having communication drop off with the property owner. Super and understandable. Scott says, scaling your sales team. Vanessa says, getting a good system down to be able to expand and bring more people. Rocio says, hiring. Bashir says, understanding if roofer software can calculate exact amount of shingles for us to order. Genesis says sales team. Mary says info on roof R. Jasmine says navigating roof R and maintaining customer relationships, estimating tips. Wow, Glenn says competitors keeps trying to hire our trained workers. Oh my goodness. Wow, so many. Wait, hold on. I lost my place. SOPs for all aspects of the company. You've come to the right place. Foundation of a vision and teamwork, recruiting, onboarding, and communication, putting together a detailed. Okay, first of all of you guys who are saying ROOFAR, processes, operations, recruiting, hiring, I'm just going to get to it because this is exactly the information that we are going to provide you. So, think about 3 things you want to make sure you leave here with. If you're going to be on here for these next 2 hours, what I want from you, what I think is going to help you implement this information, get a notepad, write down some notes, and get this information organized. Um, I know that some of you are going to be joining us on our actual 411 class in October. But if you're still investing time into this class, I highly recommend just trying to get the most out of it. Your time is so important. Alrighty, so let's talk about company foundations. First of all, there's over 100,000 roofing companies in the US today. How are you going to stand out? This does not include people who are not licensed or have not registered their business. This is only registered and licensed businesses. So just think about how many more companies are out there operating today. So when we create the operation system to your company, there's a couple underlying drivers that you need to have behind your processes. And sometimes this is what can make the difference between the team truly implementing everything you've designed and the team falling short and not delivering what the expectations are that you're setting out. So why do you do what you do? What's important about it? And when I write my SOPs, I include the why on every part of the process, from inspections to estimating to troubleshooting to even answering the phone. Why these things are important. And the second is, why do customers deserve to work with you? Now, this is a huge mindset shift because if you're a contractor who is driving forward and growing an ethical business, you're doing good, you're doing right by your clients, then customers deserve to work with you and not with a contractor who might take advantage of them or not deliver the best service. So, this is why they deserve to work with you. If you're a great contractor, clients deserve to work with you. So let's start off with our vision statement. A vision statement is a description of the desired future state of the company. Now, everybody knows Disney, myself included. I wish my company was as big as Disney. I want to have a company as big as Disney one day. So, Disney is a company that operates theme parks, resorts, broadcast networks, and streams TV shows and movies. That's the what. But their vision is to be one of the leading producers and providers of entertainment and information in the world. What a huge difference. So the way that this applies to roofers, a lot of times I hear my clients say they tell me the what they do is their vision. For example, building quality roofs or providing great service. That's what you do. But what is the vision and the purpose behind that? So we're going to share with you Roofar's vision as an example as well. Roofar is a complete end-to-end platform for roofers aimed to drive down your overhead, increase your sales, and streamline your process all in one tool. That's what they do. Now, the vision is Roofar's purpose is to build the most trusted roofing platform in the world. So, who understands the difference? What's the difference between the what and your vision? Now, let's get into what is a mission statement. A mission statement, whoops. A mission statement is a concise explanation of the organization's reason for existence, purpose, and overall your intention. So, the mission of the Walt Disney Company is to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting the iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make ours the world's premier entertainment company. Amazing. So, I wanted to share the vision of Business 411 with each of you today. Our vision is to become the world's leading authority in business education for the construction industry and setting the standard for excellence and innovation in the field. I remember when I wrote my first roofing manual with my team, to us, this was truly innovating just because it didn't exist. And when I was learning the industry, I had to scrub information for free and see what I could find off of YouTube, manufacturer sites, go to roofing events just to try to learn some basic stuff. And if I had tools and resources like what Business 411 has created, I would have learned the industry in half the time. So, our mission is to empower businesses to build their dream companies while enriching the lives of our team members along the way. Culture is a huge thing for us here at Business 411, and we want to see our team members succeed. So while we want to improve the industry, while we want to build these great organizations, we want our team members to feel happy to work here and create an environment of success, create an environment of collaboration where all of our team members can bring ideas and help us innovate in this industry. So it's giveaway time. Like I said, we're going to be giving away different manuals. Drop a comment. I'm going to choose one or two people to give away a free manual to. If you have never seen our manuals, this is three of the ones that we have. We have many. If you have a good comment, you can either win the residential, the commercial, or the insurance. So if you want your chance to win, drop a comment. Give me a good answer. What is your vision and what is your mission? Let's go. We're going to give you guys 2 minutes and we're going to choose a winner. And if you need some help, I'm going to take one person on and actually have them say their answer out loud. So raise your hand if you want to join and you want to say your vision and mission. Who wants to come on for the giveaway on the audio? Alrighty, Brian, if you want to tell me what company you're with and where you're tuning in from. Hello, hello, mic check, Brian. It looks like Brian's mic is not working. Brian, what's going on with your mic? Oh no. Oh, Brian. All right, while we wait for Brian to get his mic, I'll bring someone else on. I'll give you a chance to get it set up, Mike, Brian. All righty, I'm gonna bring on let's see here. Oof, there's so many of you guys. Oh, don't hate me if I don't pick you. Okay, I brought Cole on to the screen. Hi, Cole.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
How are you?
Doing awesome, man. You're killing it. You're killing it. Look at you.
Thank you, thank you. Talk to me. What is your vision and mission?
So, my mission is to eradicate the negative perception of the roofing industry. We will make customers feel special, feel important. I will offer an experience that will exceed my customers' expectations today, tomorrow, and in the future. I will not just sell roofs, I will create family or
Wow.
fans.
Wow. Okay. So I love it. There's a lot of purpose within your vision and mission statement. I love it. You didn't make it just about building quality systems. You brought in how you want to create an impact. I love it. Which one do you want? I know you have the insurance manual.
Give me the
Which one?
commercial. Give me the commercial.
All right. Commercial manual for
Hi,
Kohl's.
Elizabeth. Can you hear me now?
Hi, Brian. I can hear you now.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to mute it until you're ready.
No, I'm ready now.
I'll tell you, it's hard to follow that. That was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. You know what? I have the same philosophies, the same goals to completely do away with the false perception that people have of us.
Mm,
Want to be a community servant. We kind of want to be a pillar in our community, and not just go knock on doors with random people who aren't really associated with us. So we want to provide the quality workmanship. We want to have fair pricing, and we want people to know that once we do your roof, we are always going to be there for you. We're not just going to sell you a roof and then a storm hits in another state and we're gone. So we really do want to be a pillar of our community and kind of press forward. And the same thing, eradicate all of those false misperceptions that are still going on to this day.
So, Brian, I'm going to give you a quick tip on yours and for everyone else who might be tuning in who has some still working on theirs a little bit. I would say for yours, I love it. It's a great foundation of where to start. I would say think about what would it mean to you and how would you impact the community by changing that perception of contractors. This is a passion of mine that I also closely align with, changing that perception of contractors. So as you dial that vision and mission statement, Try to make it concise, like 1 or 2 sentences maximum on each of those so that you can deliver that point and make it very dramatic and impactful.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate you. Which manual would you like?
I would really like the entrance restoration.
Cool. Now, Brian, I apologize. Zoom's only giving me your first name. What is your last name so I can send you an email after
Yeah,
this?
it's Broyles, Broyles.
And have you ever heard about Business 411 before?
I have not before this.
Oh, cool. So welcome to the Business 411 family.
Thank you.
We'll get that sent over to you after this. Thank you. Alrighty, so many of you dropped amazing comments. If I had 4 hours, I would be here reading all of them. Guys, so many of you are on the right track. Just try to dial it in. There's some of you who are sending me some great ones. They're just a little bit too long. And then some of you, it's short, but it's not impactful or filled with purpose. So as you continue to fine tune that messaging, give it a little bit more practice. If this is something you want to work on together on my 3-day class, October 16th through the 18th, here in Fort Lauderdale, I'll be going through this and doing a more in-depth workshop. So we have a lot to cover today, so let's keep it going. Why is it important to have a dialed in vision and a mission statement? Oh my God, Julia, you just made me laugh. Julia said, my mission is for you to pick me for the residential roofing manual. Sorry, guys, that was funny. Importance of your why, team alignment and focus, motivation and engagement. And here's a great one, consistency when problem solving and decision making. When we have a set rule, a set standard for how we do things, for how our core values are implemented into our business, it allows us to choose better people to represent our organization. And most importantly, we give them a compass on how we make decisions as a team. So this is going to improve collaboration across all of your departments. It makes it a lot easier to recruit and retain the right people because great people want to work with great people. And then most importantly, your clients get a superior experience because they're working with and connecting with people that care. Oh, Christine, nice comment. She said, the class is the best thing we ever did for our business. 3 days to unplug from our business and devote to our future. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate you. Alrighty, your focus question, how do you communicate that mission to your clients? And I'll give you a couple of ways that you can do that. That's through your sales process. That's through your branding, through your vehicle wraps. I have a couple examples here. From samples like your sales folder and what your clients are seeing when they're working with you. So these are some examples of our clients incorporating their mission statements. And then if you say that your core value for your business is to train your team, but you don't have team training manuals or solutions for them, how is that actually training them? So this is an example of what a training manual looks like. It's branded to the company. It's focused on helping that company shine, giving them more literature to empower their team members. And then the homeowner seeing magazines like this that truly do stand out and help the client see that you're different, that you're not like every other roofer. So it's something huge to say we're different and verbally just say it. And then there's a huge difference when actually having ways to prove that we're different. So these are just different items that we make here at Business 401 to help you guys. So let's continue. Let's talk about market research and why this is so important. Now, a fact that astounds me is quite often I'll work with different business owners and they've never run a report to see what their target market is like. You might have been in business for 5 years, for 10 years, but you don't know what kind of jobs are available in your area. What is your homeowner demographic? Just simple facts when you're creating a business plan or when someone's looking to acquire your business or something like that. They're going to look into these things. So when we're building a business, why are we skipping over this very crucial step, getting the data on our target market? So this helps you truly understand what are your customers' needs and preferences. It helps you price yourself competitively or even understand what markets you want to focus on working on. And then it also gives you an opportunity to take a look at what's your competitors and market size. And it helps you develop strategies based on trends and opportunities. So when you can identify trends that are happening in your market, it gives you a competitive advantage to be proactive and not reactive. So here's some of the two biggest data points. I'm going to go over a few of them, but you want to know how many contractors are in your service area. You want to understand what's the home ownership rate in your market. You want to understand the average age of homeowners in your community. You want to be able to truly dial in and understand the median property value in your market and the median household income. This is going to signal where you're going to be able to price yourself at to stay profitable yet competitive. So here's an example of one of my clients. When we do the class, we run these customized reports for each one of our clients. So it goes to the company, where they're located. So this is insane. In DFW, in a 50-mile radius, there's 5,413 contractors from their specific zip code. Only 1,907 of those are actually accredited by the BBB. Astounding numbers. 64% of home ownership rate. The national average is 64. If you live in a market where you have like 70, 80% home ownership rate, it is such a great way for you to actually implement and know what type of marketing campaigns could work for you. If you live in an area where only 60% of them are actually owned by property owners, it might give you a different perspective on what kind of marketing strategies you want to run. So there's over 2,760,000 owner-occupied households. The median property value is $299,000. That's insane. Here in Florida, that will get you a shack or like literally like an apartment, a condo, or a townhouse. Not even then. So sometimes it makes me want to move to Texas. But the median household income is $83,000. The average age of your consumer is 35 years old, and the common employers are retail, healthcare, professional, science, technical, educational, manufacturing, construction, accommodation, and food service. So that's just an overview of some of the things that you should know with your market, running some reports. We do these for everyone in our 3-day class, and we dive way deeper. So going into company structure, what is a process, right? It seems like it's a hot word. Everybody wants to talk about process nowadays. Well, a process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. So a process is just the simple steps that are taken in order to achieve a particular end. So you can have different types of processes within your company. You can have your customer journey process. You can have your process on how to train your new team members. You can have a recruiting process. You can have a leadership implementation process. And personally, I've been working a lot with my sales team recently, and I've just been developing process after process after process, expanding more processes. So the word process is now like a daily thing, or honestly, by the minute thing. It used to be a daily thing. Now, something that's very exciting is when you think of the word implementation, this is actually the process of putting a decision or plan into effect. Execution, right? Insane. So what is process implementation? Process implementation refers to the strategic approach to helping an organization adopt new procedures. Businesses implement new processes for different reasons, including streamlining tasks, promoting efficiencies, reducing errors, or driving business growth. It's so important for you guys to know that process implementation is not a one and done thing. Even if you come to one of our classes, it's something that has to be done continuously. The training on those process has to be continuously. So what are you looking at now? All right. This is an example of some of the structures that we've seen out there. And don't feel bad if this is you. Who's out there is doing a simple structure and running the show, wearing all the hats? Who is in the simple structure? You all are better than me. I was in the simple structure the first 6 months in my business, and I felt like I was losing my mind and immediately invested into building a team. So, shout out to you if you've been doing it for an extended amount of time. I definitely was not able to do that. I needed to build a team. So, that's one reason why I got good at finding great people, was just because having a simple structure is so stressful. Sometimes it's chaotic. You know, you do get to keep a lot of the money that you're making, but it's just a lot to take on as just one person. Now, you have a functional structure. A functional structure is where you have some positions in place. You might be partially building this out. You might have a sales team, you might not have managers yet, but more or less you're trying to start adding structure to your company, to the range that you maybe already have some structure in your business. You might have a manager or two, you might have some supporting team members. This is called a functional structure. Next, you have what's called a multi-divisional structure. For this multi-divisional structure to be properly built out, typically our clients are anywhere between 15 to $20 million a year to properly implement a multi-divisional structure. With a multi-divisional structure, you have multiple territories, you have your managers in place, you have supporting team members in place, and you understand the direction of where you're going. And a multi-divisional structure is more focused on the execution portion. The functional can work if you're not looking to expand into other territories, because expanding into multiple territories requires a multi-divisional structure. And then last but not least is what's called a matrix structure. And at this time, the way that it works is it's more focused on high-tech engineering firms. My company, we work in a mix between functional structure and a matrix structure, because we do have some team members who are cross-trained. So an example of a matrix structure might be once you're at like 50 to $60 million a year, you have multiple people as corporate positions who are interested who are working in different positions of your business. So great question from Alexander. That would be a functional structure. Until you master building leadership and departments, you wouldn't move to another structure. So that's going to be the big one. And that's actually what I'm going to be talking about with you guys today, is how to build that functional structure. I typically have seen that companies do not master this fully until they're at about the $20 million a year mark. So you start off with the simple structure, trying to do everything yourself. Then you're like, I need to get the right people in the right place. I need to build systems. I need to build processes for them. That's what the functional structure is designed to help you do. And also maintain a great profit margin within whatever your goals are. So what is the objective for creating a functional structure? The first thing is to have an efficient and a profitable business model. Our company gross profit goals should be maintained between 35 to 45%, consistently dependent on our market and services. Again, if you're in an area where your replacements are typically averaging a higher gross profit margin, that this should be according to that. Your entire business should be based on the profit margins that you want to achieve. And most people do everything reverse. They build the business first, and then they say, how much money should I be making? This can be a situation where I've been brought into companies that are making $18 million a year, but unfortunately spending $19 million a year. So I've seen it happen over and over and over again with many businesses just like yours. That's why this industry, businesses go out, it doesn't matter their revenue, they go out of business because they didn't know how to build stability, how to build structure in order to help them grow. So each department should have clear leadership, and it should have accountability to define who is responsible for the overall performance of a department and the key players required. So during this model, we're actually going to be building a functional structure. The SOP that I've written, the class that I teach is about this one. I have other courses available, but this is the starting point. So the hierarchy, we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to talk about how to build your hierarchy and I'm going to explain some things that I've seen work. I'm going to give you some options. My job is always to provide you with context and help you make decisions that are good for you and that fit your business model and your goals. I've been doing this long enough, and I've worked with literally thousands of companies that all have built their businesses different ways. So I've seen it work in many, many different ways. So that's why I give you just impartial opinion, things that I've studied, how I've seen it work, and how it can apply it to you. And then departments, we don't have too much time to go into that today, but department structure is how you actually organize specific objectives, how those roles work, and the processes necessary in order to build that department. And then leadership, that's something also, those two last subjects we talk more in the class. Just at a time today, I won't be able to go through it because I have other things I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit later. So let's talk about what is the type of structure that you want to build. All right, so this is what you're typically looking at on your departments: sales, operations, and installation. Now, if you're one of the business owners on this call who's currently owner, operator, simple structure, you're wearing all the hats, typically your next hire should be the person who's going to help you execute more of what you're better at. Now, what does this mean? For myself, I was great and did so well at sales. So what I hired was an operator who helped me take care of some of the production and operations function. I didn't have the resources to hire multiple people right away. So I decided, how can I focus more on producing more sales? Now, let's say the opposite. Let's say you're great at organization, operations, and production, but you just don't have it within you to sell. You just don't want to. Your next person you might build is two formats. You can either hire a sales rep who you manage, or you can hire a sales manager who's going to help you build out that team. So typically the way that the structure is built out looks a little bit differently for everyone, but there's a couple important areas that are important for everyone to consider is, how do you want to build careers within your business structure? So for example, here on the sales side, you'll see you have the opportunity to hire a canvasser, a junior sales rep, a senior sales rep, a team lead, and a sales manager. Can anybody drop a comment if you have more than 5 sales reps right now, full time? Who has more than 5 sales reps full time? So touching on companies who have more than 5 sales reps full time, the issue is if you're going to go and hire new sales reps, you don't want to bring them in at the same structure that the existing ones you have. So your existing sales reps could be senior sales reps after they've achieved certain milestones, and then your new sales reps can come in as what is called a junior sales rep. What does this create? It creates a path for people to be successful within your business. It creates a path for them to increase your retention. And it also makes the people that have been with you for quite a while understand that there's a certain credibility and certain positions and benefits that they've earned simply by performing well. So having that clear definition can help your existing sales reps, while you're still recruiting, still feel more valued, and can help new sales reps understand that there's growth opportunity. And then as this continues to build out, a way that I've seen it work is, instead of having a sales manager who's still selling, you could have what's called a team lead. So a team lead would be training a junior sales rep, helping them. They would be recruiting, working with a canvasser, and they would earn a small percentage of what these sales reps are selling, and they could still close some deals by themselves. However, when you have a sales manager who's truly building the department, they should not be selling at all. They should only be doing recruiting and training. And then during the class, we talk more about compensation structures and what those things look like. But compensation should vary, and we break this down in the sales portion a lot. Now operations, if you're not at, 10, 15 million, you don't need a huge operations team. You want to maintain a good, profitable structure. So what does that look like? Typically, at that point, you need an office manager, an admin assistant. You could be using a third-party CPA. You might be working with a marketing agency such as ours. You might be starting to do more door-to-door. Whatever the strategy is, you don't need to build out a ton of overhead into the business model until you have a proven track record. Otherwise, you're going to decrease your overall profitability before you've made enough money to truly sustain that overhead over a projected amount of time. And then you have installation. Notice I didn't call this the production department. I called it installation for the reason that in these training manuals, I write that production is everybody's job. Production is sales job, it's operations job, and it's the installs team, because sales is responsible for doing thorough inspections, getting the paperwork, getting the contracts fully, and not adding more to operations or install by not doing good. And then, operations is in charge of making sure that customers happy, is communicated with, and then typically you have your install who's actually installing the roof and bringing it to completion. So you wouldn't recommend an operations manager prior to 15 million, more of an office manager. It depends. I brought in an operations manager as my first hire, but I did it in a more strategic way because my operations manager helped me build out the rest of the team. So that's why I said you have to think about if you're going to separate who you're going to bring in next, or who's going to be your next leader, needs to be the weakest point in your company that can make an impact. So I wouldn't bring in an operations manager just if they have I wouldn't call an admin an operations manager, which is a common mistake I've seen. If I was to be in that position, I'm doing 15 million, and I believe, how many sales reps? Shout out to you, Donovan. How you been? How many sales reps do you have, Donovan? I forgot. So Donovan, well, I'm gonna answer your question for you. Yes, so 17 right now. Do you have a sales manager? Yes. What is the weakest spot for you guys right now? Operations. Cool. So at that point, you have 17 sales reps. You have currently, you guys are doing less than 15 million. So you're figuring out who you're going to bring in to help you. It depends. I would bring in an operations manager more at this level where I have things more built out. And typically it's going to look more like a general management position, because I would look for someone more versatile at that revenue, because you might need someone who's not just good at operations. They can step in and manage and work with the sales manager. They can step in and work with production. So general management is a good position for you guys based off of where you're at. Joe has a great question. Would you recommend the operation manager and production manager to take a hybrid role in the early going and bring in a sales manager next? Man, Joe, I want to give you a great answer, but I need more details. Because again, I need to have more context. What's your current team like? What's the company size? How much are you guys doing at revenue? So give me that context, give me a little bit more details, and I'll answer yours. And then I'll answer one more, which is Jenna. We have 8 sales reps, some seasoned, some newer this season. Do you have any suggestions on how to implement a senior and junior sales rep split between the existing group, as well as suggestions on how to create a path from junior to senior based on milestones, but also primarily based on skill level and specifically a process for testing those skills level? Jenna, you are speaking my language. I actually wrote a book on that. I'm gonna just pull it up for quick context on my phone. And thank you guys for sharing. I really appreciate it. Believe it or not, you're actually helping a lot of people in this group right now. Give the people in thumbs up, everybody. Some great questions getting added in. I wish I could answer everyone. We have almost 200 people on here today. Okay. So I'm just going to very quickly go through this because I have a lot of content to go through with you today. But I'm going to explain to you how is the junior versus the senior sales rep implemented. And then I'll invite you to come to the class and figure out some more information for you. So the way that we have it divided is by commission. So for example, a junior sales rep would be at a lower commission rate because the team lead gets a percentage of the commission of the job while they're training the junior sales rep. So just for easy math, I'm going to say it is 10%, right? So again, this is just for easy math. I'm not going to say exactly what you should do because I don't know your numbers at this exact moment. But let's say your total is 10% commission. That means the team lead, who's the trainer, would be getting 1.5% of the junior sales training. The junior sales rep would be getting 6.5%. And then the canvasser would be getting 2% for lead generation. That's if you had a total of 10% commission available. That's how you would break it out down between a canvasser, a junior rep, and a team lead helping them. Now, a senior rep does no longer needs a team lead, and this keeps your team lead recruiting and focusing more on training. So, sorry, they're telling me I have to hurry up. But the senior sales rep is usually getting that 10% if they're bringing in their own leads and not working with a canvasser. So it depends on how if you have a canvasser, if you have a junior rep, if you have a senior rep, and how you have a team lead. I have more information on that. I'm so sorry. I had to keep going because it's 1:49. There's more structure that you can add for your senior sales rep. Some things that I recommend is by amount of revenue that they've sold. So all of your current sales reps who, again, I'm just going to throw an easy number out there, have sold over 500K could be a senior sales rep. And anybody who has sold over $1 million could qualify to be a team lead and start to build their own sub teams. And anybody who has sold less than 500,000 could be a junior rep. And then all of our quizzes and assessments are based off of our manuals. So everything that we look to implement for our team is already created for our clients, just to keep it simple. How do you go about hiring? Last one, I promise. How do you go about hiring higher level employees? Like, how would you hire a bookkeeper if you don't even know how to keep them accountable because you don't know anything about bookkeeping? Look, guys, being a business owner, you have to know enough to be dangerous in everything. Seriously, because there's so much that you can get taken advantage of, even on the accounting and bookkeeping side. As a business owner, I've had to study the very basics of so many different areas of my business just to have a good grasp on things. So I recommend that you know the basics of accounting. There's a lot of education and content out there as a business owner for you to learn that. Now, with other roles, you have to have a good foundation and structure in order to know who to bring in and how to hold them accountable. And that's where we team up with our clients is I understand operations and I can help you create a structure to bring someone in and give you the metrics on how to hold them accountable because I've already done it. So that's an easy way that we help you guys get to that next level. Otherwise, it's trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, which is a lot of my clients have gone through that. And finally, they get tired. They're like, Liz, just help us out because we've worked with so many roofers. This like you guys can ask me questions and I can just keep going and answer with detail each of your problems because it's experience that we have. So I want to keep going. This is why you have to this is why you have to come to our classes because if you ask me questions, I'm like so focused and tuned to help you try to solve your problem. But I had to keep going. I had to talk about things and I had to get to production today. So, shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much for all those great comments. I wish I could answer all of them. Customer service. So 68% of consumers say they're willing to pay more for products and services from a brand known to offer good customer service experiences. So that means your reviews matter. People, if you have great reviews, you're 68% higher chance of getting chosen. After more than one bad experience, around 80% of consumers say they would rather do business with a competitor. Okay, so 80% of people are just going to give you one shot. This means if you miss the call, if you didn't answer them, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get an opportunity to win that customer's service again. Or if your team does a bad job of answering, or you're driving down the road, the phone goes to you and you say, hey, thanks for calling XYZ Roofing. This is John. And you don't pay attention to the cues of the client, if you're not really in tune with them and you're just scribbling on your notepad while you're driving, you might not win that client over the same way as someone who has a more polished and refined phone answering approach. So we recommend always starting with a personal touch, having high energy. For example, just a simple answering the phone with a good morning. This is Liz from Business 411. How can I help you? We like to provide information to people. So our script is, hi, this is Elizabeth with Business 411. What can I provide you information on? So just very simple, lighthearted, just happy to answer the phone. You're in a good mood. People are so used to getting automated tones, not talking to people on the phone, that when they hear someone happy, upbeat, and excited to talk to them, they're gonna want to deal with you. They're gonna want to be like, oh wow, finally someone's answering the phone in a good mood. Wow, this never happens. I speak from experience. This happens to me whenever I'm shopping for a service. Personal touch. Repeat the customer's issue, the reason for calling them back. If a customer says, hey, I have a leak. Oh, I understand you have a leak. That could be very worrisome. Let's get someone scheduled to get that taken a look at right away for you. Now, if you have an admin who's not engaging in conversations this way, this might be a reason why you don't have a good show rate for your appointments, because answering the phone and this process is how you get people warmed up to actually do sales. Vanessa makes a valid point. This year, 20% of my customers are signing with me because other companies don't respond the phone or don't show up to appointments. Honestly, I've seen it happen more often than not. So, what is rapport? In the sales world, building rapport means gaining a person's trust by showing concern for their needs and communicating well. This is my sales style as well. I care about my clients, and I know most of you on this call are going to care about your clients the same way. So building rapport is how we show them that we have a concern for their needs, and then we communicate with them in a way that they can actually understand. So a couple of simple tips for you guys for customer service. Listen when there's an issue happening. Let's say you're having an issue in production down the road, a client's not happy with you. How do you troubleshoot those kind of issues? Listening, acknowledging the client, giving them verbal confirmation that you understand them. Thank them for letting you know about the issue. How are you going to take action? How are you going to make this right? And then encouragement, how to end this on a high note and get the client excited. So in our 411 roofing systems class, well, we have an entire scripts, the SOP from lead intake to sign contract that goes through all of this for you. Alrighty, another giveaway time. I forgot who it was that Julia, I believe was the name, that wanted to win a giveaway, wanted to win a residential manual. So drop a comment. What is the craziest customer complaint you have ever had? Julia, since you made me laugh earlier, I'm gonna let you go first. Remember, let's keep it brief. I know I'm a big storyteller and I'll start talking too much as well. So keep it brief. Tell me funny story really quick. Where did she go? Where's Julia? Julia, can you put the little hand raise thing so I can call on you? Oh, here you go. All righty. So talk to
Hey,
me.
so we've only been here since April. We're a franchise to a very large roofing company, BCR, Best Choice Roofing. And we actually had one this morning, so I haven't had many complaints. Actually, this is the only first one where a elderly woman called and said, it's nice that your guys are handing out pamphlets, but I don't appreciate that they're in my yard. I guess they blew. We had wind. So I tried to call her, and I'm going to try to sell her a roof whenever I'm finally able to get a hold of her. But yeah, that was about it. Nothing major.
Well, you know what, Julia? Just give it some more time and you'll have plenty of crazy, crazy stories besides that one. So thank you for sharing. We're going to send you a residential roofing manual, digital copy as soon as this webinar is done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Alrighty, so let me read one more comment and see what is something crazy. Let's see. Oh no, George. 21 bad reviews by a customer and his family's friends all came in on a 2-day span to complain about a rep. Jorge, that sounds terrible, okay? I'm sorry for you. Because of that, I will give you a manual. That sounds like 21 bad reviews in a couple of days from a single client over a sales rep. That is insane. Can you send me your company, it's not telling me your last name, so I just need to know your last name. And what manual would you like? Jason? Oh my God. LOL. Most recent complaint was asking why we let a hurricane damage her house. What in the world? Okay, Jason, you made me laugh around as well. Um, which one do you want, Jason? That's funny. Sorry, I would read all of them, guys, if I had the time. George said he was able to turn it around. I would like the commercial. I already have the residential. Okay. Alrighty. So you already have the residential. Congratulations to you, loyal customer. Thank you. All right, I'll get you the commercial. Jason, I will get you the insurance manual. Okay, cool.
I'm taking notes for you, Liz, so you can keep going on who's
Okay.
winning.
Okay, cool. For those who said, where can I buy them if I don't get to win one? We actually have them on our site. I'm gonna give some links at the end to purchase a manual if you'd like one. I recommend also booking a call for our team. And then I'll get into a little bit more about how the manuals work and everything a little bit closer to the end. But all of our manuals come with your company logo, like the one that I showed earlier. Like this. It comes with the company logo, and there's different ones. The insurance one breaks down like everything about insurance. This is residential. It breaks down all the basics of just like the roofing systems and so on. So let's keep it going, but that's what the manuals are. What we are doing on the giveaway is we're giving the branded with the logo and the company colors, and you guys just have to print it off on your own. So let's get into the sales process. Obviously, we don't have time to go through everything today, but we're going to talk about how to create structure within that sales process. So you have your intake process, which is what we were chatting about. We're also talking about qualifying process, how to assign a rep, how to schedule the appointment, how to get ready for that inspection with your calls, how to prepare an estimate, how to present, getting together options, and how to fill out the contract. So, like I was saying earlier, I believe that the sales process starts from the second a client calls your company. So, the sales process for the admin, what their objectives should be, is to schedule a sales rep with qualified appointments and input all of the client details into the CRM. Properly input the appointments into the calendar and to track lead distribution data. The sales rep objectives are to qualify. Is this the right project and client for our team to take on? Educate is going to be what is the best option for the client and who is the best contractor. And to close is the outcome of the sales process. This should conclude in a sale. Whoops, sorry. That one just opened up. Apologize. If you click on that link and you're interested in some of our products, congratulations for the first few of you. I'm actually going to be taking those calls myself. So if you know that there's something here that you're interested and you want to buy something from us, click on that link and I will take care of you guys myself. Alrighty, so the sales process for the admin, the workflow is to intake what is the project, and is it something that we do within our service area? To qualify, is it the right kind of project for our team? to assign the rep, what is the soonest they're available and who needs to be present, and then making sure you're assigning the correct representative, and then scheduling the appointment. Did I enter all of the client details into the CRM by project type? Kelly, can you drop the link to all of the manuals as well for those who want a manual? The sales rep workflow is the pre-call. Is the homeowner present? What is the issue and how is it impacting them? What's their sense of urgency? Inspection, what information do we need to gather on this property, this client, and their need, and how can we package this to feed or develop the sense of urgency? So roofing is something that people don't actually want to spend so much money on a roof. It's a need. They're not shopping because they want it. So since that need exists, it's our job to really highlight it and to develop that sense of urgency for them. And then estimate is, what is the project completion going to cost? The presentation, what are we showing the homeowner that it's going to set us apart from every other roofer in the area? We're going to focus a lot on the presentation here today just because of time's sake. Options, what is the best for the homeowner based on their needs, and contract. So typically I go through this for an entire day. This is just an overview. But the contract is, are all the details covered as it pertains to the specific project, and what objections do I need to overcome the deal to close the deal? Alrighty, so this still blows my mind, even with my team members. I'm always like, follow up with people, follow up, follow up, follow up. 60% of customers say no 4 times before saying yes. But yet 48% of salespeople never even make a single follow-up attempt. However, 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls. However, 44% of salespeople give up after 1 follow-up call. So this means if you have a great process and you're following up with people, you can pick up all those deals that no one else is following up with. Now, Roofar has the sales nurturing, exposure, and automations rule of 7. Customers need to see your brand at least 7 times before they commit to a purchase. Integrate that principle into Roofer CRM by setting up automations and the workflows to increase the contact point and follow up with all of your leads. This will take your cold leads and warm them up to close. So if you can see here on the screenshot, you can see how many leads, how many views you got, how many clicks, and on your new leads. This is for all of you who already are using the Roofar tool free estimator on your website. This is just a glance what you're able to see their workflow at a glance. So highly recommend using Roofar to its full potential if you're not trying to really get the value out of this software. What's the best way to follow up? It's a combination of things. I would really identify how the person wants to be followed up with during the sales process and presentation. And that is really just important for you guys to think about while you're working with the client, is what are they going to want? What are their expectations? And also to consider, what were their objections? Why do you have to follow up? Why didn't you close that deal? So that's more of discovery, doing proper discovery on the client. I have good news for you guys. My business partner, Kelly, she just dropped me a comment. We are doing 15% off all manuals sponsored by Roof R. So shout out to Roof R. You guys are awesome. They're going to give you guys 15% off today only off of all manuals. So shout out to Roof R. Very cool.
Hey
So
guys, if you're interested in learning more about Roofer, they're going to be doing a demo at the very end of our webinar. So they're going to kind of be covering tons of stuff that we went over in this presentation in that demo, and how Roofer kind of helps you every step of the way. So make sure if you want to see that demo and get more in-depth questions answered about that, we're going to do that at the end. Thank you guys so much.
thank you. Shout out to Roof R for the 15% code. Alrighty, so here is our sales approach. Now, the way that I approach sales in our processes and systems, it doesn't matter what kind of sales coaching you're using, what kind of sales strategies. I focus on the execution and the actual steps that need to get done. You can use additional video training programs, additional training tips, and so on. But here, what we're focusing on is how decisions are made and actual checklists to tell your sales rep exactly what they need to do. So it's just the actionable items that need to get done, regardless of whatever type of sales training you like or you prefer. It doesn't matter to us. Our system is designed to focus on the process on this process part of things. So this is the 4 key focuses on the buying frames that we talk about. The first is fear of loss. The second is experience. The third is the opportunity cost. And fourth is compare and contrast. So let's talk about the golden rules for sales. Oh, cool. Cole said, I will say I recently ordered our insurance restoration manuals for all my sales reps, and it's been a game changer. Must order for training your teams. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Cole. So what are the golden rules for us when it comes to sales? A sales process is just that. It's a process. You can't shortcut and expect to get the full results. So what does that mean? If you are developing a sales process for your team and there are certain team members who are not following that process fully, you're not going to be able to have consistency on your tracking. You're not going to be able to really understand where are the breakpoints in your sales workflow. And most importantly, you're not going to be able to scale that success that you've created. There's some great things in your sales process, or maybe you have a certain way that you sell as the owner, your top salesman sells another way, and then your bottom of the barrel sales rep who's struggling to keep up sells a completely different way. Why? Because information is not shared between all of those team members, and there's not a set process that they can all add to and collaborate on to continue to grow the team. So a sales process is a path to a logical conclusion for your prospect. This is not a tactic. I don't believe in sales tactics. I believe if you're solving problems for people, a sale is going to happen organically if you're skilled, knowledgeable, and completely different from everyone else. So a sales presentation is a tool. If you do not properly use that tool, it's not going to produce the results you're looking for. Now, here's the key one. Sometimes I tell this to my sales reps, I'm like, guys, just listen. People want to tell you what their problem is, and you have to be able to listen enough to be able to identify it and why they want to buy. So selling is less about selling and more about listening to see what your prospect values. Well-crafted questions are the key to unlocking what your prospect values. If you want better answers from your client, if you truly want to understand them, ask better questions. Another issue is nowadays everybody thinks that they're like the next DIY roofer. They think that like they can do absolutely everything as a property owner. So sometimes you go into a homeowner dealing with them and they've done a ton of YouTube University studying and Google discovery. So it's your job not only to give them information, but to provide context to that information and to create that buying frame for them. Less is more, less talking, more listening. And here's one of my favorites. Objections are roadblocks. Remove the roadblocks before you get the objection. So if you already know common objections that you get, your sales presentation should be designed in a way to uncover those objections and most importantly, get them out before it's time to get to the close. And last but not least, your ability to ask for the business is directly proportional to the work you did in order to earn it. Do not be an ask hole. So this is an ask hole is someone who ask, but doesn't give, doesn't provide value, doesn't help their clients, and doesn't leave the client feeling better than when they got there. So, alrighty, we have another giveaway. Holy moly, guys, we just giving you things left and right on this one. Okay, drop a comment. This one we're going to do in the comment section. Drop a comment with the best sales advice for closing deals. Ooh, I love this one.
Liz, why don't we have someone come on and speak a little bit on that, not just read comments. So whoever has a good one, I would invite them to talk really quick.
Okay, Kelly wants to invite one of you guys on here. Put your hands up. Who wants to come on here? Who wants to give me their best sales advice? Remember, just for time's sake, we gotta keep it quick. So let's hear it. All right, Oliver.
Hi. I put it on the chat here, but my opinion would be to be genuinely interested in what the prospect has to say. You got to look at it from their point of view before you look at it from your point of view. And you have to have tactical empathy, using labels, mirrors, and just really having a good grasp of the English language. You got to listen more than you talk.
I love it. Thank you, Oliver. Congratulations. You have won some Roof R swag. Oliver, what is your last name? Just so it says Oliver F.
I'll message the winners for this one
I put it in
directly.
the chat. It's Ferrier, like the drink
Awesome.
without the P.
Awesome. Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna take one more participant. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Oof, all of you guys are putting your hands up at once. Boaz Clark. Alrighty, talk to me. What is your top sales advice for closing deals?
Yeah, the best advice that I have is to always focus on the value and not the price. And then when you do get to the price, just emphasizing it like, wow, like this is a pretty good price for the value, don't you think? And kind of emphasizing that versus going with the price and being like, yeah, I know it's high, but like blah, blah, blah. It's like focus on the value that you're giving to the homeowner. And that's going to help close the deal itself.
Very cool. I love it. Thank you so much. That's great advice. What's cool is it's very similar to the advice that we actually give to our clients on the sales manual that we have together. And we talk about how it's important to drive value and lower the importance of price. So I love it. I love it. Sounds like we are on the same boat there. So let's keep it going. Here's something very important for sales reps is to truly have a clear objective on what it is that they need to accomplish. So having sales reps have defined objectives for their roles and what they're responsible for accomplishing is crucial, crucial, crucial. So at this point in the process, as the sales rep, you will now take ownership of the client choosing us as their contractor of choice. This is called the closing process. Now, a lot of times people get sales confused and think sales is all about doing the big show. At the end of the day, the most important part is to close the deal, to win that client's business because they deserve to do business with us and not some janky roofer who doesn't care about them. So that's why we need to close them. Okay. The second is to build a lifelong relationship with our clients. My clients are important to me. Your clients are important to you. They're the reason we're in business today. So you want to build a relationship with them. And shout out to everybody who has this as part of their mission and vision statement. We want to raise the local market perception of contractors by maintaining integrity, service, and value while representing the company in the field. So my friend earlier who jumped on, this would be an example of how you implement your vision and mission of raising the local market perception of contractors through the objectives that you set for your sales reps. Okay. The next one, detailed inspection reports with accurate and labeled photos that can be reviewed by all team members to understand their full scope of work. Focus on asking the potential client the right questions and understanding how to frame the conversation based on their answers. Here's a big one. Remove the roadblocks / objections during the sales process by emphasizing Explore what's the client's goals and their objectives. Understand what this client aims to achieve and ask questions about their desired outcomes. This is going to help you tailor your responses and solutions to their specific needs. Here's a big one. Uncovering gaps in their knowledge. So, framing your questions in a way that reveals potential gaps in their understanding or knowledge. This could involve, have you ever done a project like this before? If they say yes, what criteria did you use to use your contractor? And did you have a good experience? So, this will let you know if they chose the cheapest contractor and had a terrible experience. This is a great closing tool if price is an objection down the road. If they have not, what criteria are you going to choose? Are you going to use to choose a contractor so that you can have a good experience? And this will typically make the homeowner say, and think about it for a second and think about what kind of contractor they really want. And most of the time, it's not just the cheapest. There's other things that they want. And even if they say the cheapest, it's your job to look and dig deeper and make sure you get more information out of them. Here's another one is, what are your biggest fears as it relates to this project? So this question gives us insight as to how they view this project. And price being equal, what are you looking for in the contractor you hire? That's a basic one that everyone should be asking. Most people usually are going to respond something generic, someone who can do a good job. So this is your opportunity to have them define what's a good job, what's a great project, what's successful, what's a great value, so digging deeper and finding out more information. So by doing so, you can gently highlight areas where they might require assistance or further information. So obviously, when we go into sales process, I can keep going for another 3 days just on that. But we have to kind of condense it so I can just go through as many topics as possible. Let's talk about your current presentation materials. Does it look like this? Oh my goodness. Who has a presentation that looks like this? A contract is not a presentation, my friends. Much love to all of you, but you definitely need to have a good presentation, especially in today's day and age. Who thinks that our presentation was visually appealing? It had so many graphics, so many things. If I was giving you the same presentation with like bullet points, you would be reacting a lot different and be less engaging. Obviously, tonality has a lot to do with it and graphics, but it's the same thing for your customers. So this is one of the tools from Roof R, the customer proposal. Look how beautiful this looks. How are you leaving behind value for your client? After your presentation, what are the next steps? How are you able to ensure that the conversation between decision makers has your value and your story included? This is such an important one. How are you able to ensure that the conversation between decision makers has your value and your story included? So control the post-sales appointment with value-driven proposals. You are 40% more likely to win a job if you're the first person in the door with a proposal. Why? Everyone is now going to be compared to you. So I have some clients who want to be the first one, and I have some that want to be the last one. But it looks like, according to the statistic, if you're the first one with a good proposal, you now set the standard. Alrighty, so visual presentation. Create a digital and or physical presentation that follows these guidelines. The visual presentation is to keep the homeowner engaged during the sales process. And my favorite part is, if you have a sales rep who starts today versus one who's been doing it for 2 years, they all have the same resource, they all have the same tools, and they all have the same presentation. So visual tools will help you easily communicate complex information about the products, services, and processes. This is an insane statistic. According to 3M Corporation, the brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. I know for me, even when I look at this slide, the first thing that I look at is literally the big bold and like the icons. And that's not just me, that's all of us. People are 30% more likely to believe and remember information presented with visuals. If I took the visuals off of this slide and just gave you the facts, you maybe wouldn't believe it. So here's another study. 86% of buyers are willing to pay more for a better customer experience. So here's an example of some of the things that we do when it comes to our magazines. Not such a good photo, but the magazine that I was showing you guys earlier when I was holding it up, like really explaining all of our services and the things that we do. Those are all parts of your presentation, your folder, having a brochure customized to if you have an emergency repair service. If you're doing commercial, you need to have a good folder. You need to have a good packet ready. So hit us up, guys, schedule a meeting if you want to get those things done as well. Alrighty. So we cover so much more in the 411 roofing systems class. The last area that I'm going to go through with you guys, I'm very appreciative of all of your time. Wait, let's see what you guys are saying here. Best sales advice for me would focus on building rapport quickly. People buy from those they trust. Start with a friendly, non-pushy introduction. Show genuine interest in their needs and present how your product solves a specific problem they have. Keep it short, clear, and always ask the right questions with confidence. Remember, you are assisting them. There's no reason to be nervous if we are adding value. Okay, all right. You know what? You have been participating quite a bit today, and I do think you are a winner for today. So comment what manual you like, and I got you. All right. So pre-build process, I'm going to go through a couple of them today, a couple of the key points. This is my pre-production process. I also have a build process. I have a quality assurance process. They all come with checklists, like how these things are implemented. But a couple of the key steps is a handoff meeting between sales to your operations and production team, approving the job by some type of management level or someone who is who is able to truly understand the technical aspect of building this job and making sure it falls within profit margin. Material orders, scheduling the project, coordinating trades and crews, and then permitting. So what is the point of having a good pre-production process? The whole point of this is to ensure that the project that the sales representative is selling is understood and, more importantly, is actually viable for the build process and production team management. You need your team to understand what was and was not sold. For example, I've heard stories where the sales rep did not include, a secondary structure in their estimate, but the client assumed that the secondary structure was included. So simple things like training your sales team on to truly identifying what is and what is not included on the contracts is important. On this meeting, typically it could happen once a day, once a week. It depends on your volume. It depends on your team size. This is something you have to figure out how often you're going to be doing handoff meetings. On the larger companies that I work with, typically they're doing them at the end of the day or in the morning when sales and production is available. So this is at this time, you're typically going to review the measurement, the proposal, the assessment photos, videos, and the inspection checklist. I'll review it with you guys now, making sure everything's into the CRM, everything's detailed, and the contacts are accurate. The production manager needs to, or production assistant, or whoever is taking over the installation team, the installation department, this exact person would need to be going through this checklist. So first of all, the sales rep submits this to the sales manager, and for all of our clients, I suggest that you guys have a way to deny jobs, especially as you increase. For example, Donovan, you have 15 sales reps or 17 sales reps. There should be a checks and balances where only jobs that fall within profit margin are going to be built. And this is an issue as you get bigger and your company grows, where if jobs are just going through and getting built just because the contract was signed, you're at risk to building bad jobs. So having even a cancellation clause within your contract that says all jobs are to be approved by management. This contract is approved once management signs off. Something like that is a good step to protect yourself. As the owner, you're the one who's going to have to suffer the consequences on these jobs not being estimated properly. So is the estimate signed and deposit collected? This could depend on what your terms typically are. Ensure that all contact information in the CRM and on the contracts match and are correct. I highly recommend always having 2 numbers on file for production in case something goes wrong, in case you need quick approval on a change order or something like that. Making sure the applicable specifications for the appropriate area. For example, detached garage versus primary structure. Are there any custom items that do not follow the standard work template? Are they clearly written out and defined with specific instructions and photos? Are payment terms clearly defined and outlined? Is the payment time defined? Is the project start time defined? Do they have pets? If so, is there a plan of action for pet care on build day? Making sure all applicable manufacturer product and color selections are made, making sure that's all in the CRM, signed, everything to the T, making sure there is additional signatures on color selection and material. This is a great one for add-on and upsells. I would always track which of my sales reps are not upselling, right? So if you're providing multiple services and you have reps that are not upselling them, do they need more training on it? What is the reason? Are they not offering it? Is it not part of your presentation? What's the gap in the business so that you can increase your average ticket size? And so this is the meeting checklist. We're going to be reviewing photos, the work scope, and the estimate to make sure they match. All photos must be annotated for the crew and production staff. Review any special instructions and job specification. Comparing the measurement report with the estimate to check for accuracy prior to ordering materials. Reviewing the full scope of work and the contract submitted by sales for accuracy, viability, and preparing for production. The objective of this stage is to move forward only with production approval. If you've moved this job to approval, that means that the file is accepted by the production department as an accurate and viable job. It is crucial to the success of the organization to communicate if a file is not production ready. So what happens if you have a sales rep or multiple sales reps who are turning incomplete files to the office? Something that I created with some of my clients is I created a process for them where if the sales rep did not turn in additional paperwork that was needed, and they just turned in the contract or things were missing and someone else had to go and get that from the property owner, they would get charged an admin fee or they would get a percentage deducted from their commission. Because you now are either A, putting the job on hold until the sales rep gets to it, or B, someone else has to do it. So give them a 24-hour window to get everything that they're missing once it happens on the handoff meeting. If they don't, you're going to move that job forward and someone else is going to handle it for them and they're going to get charged for it. Now, what does this help solve? Is if not, you have clients that are waiting around for your sales reps. So it's so important for you guys. The client is now your client. Once they sign a contract with your business, it's not just the responsibility of the sales rep anymore. It's your job as the owner to design systems that are bringing clients in the satisfaction that they need consistently. And that's what we talk about when we talk about extreme ownership in your business. So I have a lot of more resources for production. I have a scheduling for project checklist. I have multiple build process checklists. Oh, and I have another giveaway. So holy moly, we've gone through quite a bit. What are you ready to implement from this webinar so far?
Let's hear from people as well, Liz, on this one.
Yeah. I will, if you put your hands up, I will bring you on. Carly, would you like to come on?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So we're a general contractor and we have a more simple structure for the time being, of course. But I think there's a big opportunity to kind of branch off into having a roof department because it's very lucrative and a lot easier to manage from afar. So that's kind of my takeaway, is to perhaps on as a general construction side, not necessarily change for the time being, but implement that for the roof department and assign, have someone for sales, have someone for all the systems to be able to increase that line of revenue.
Awesome, Carly. So, I have quite a bit of experience working with GCs as well. The way that we organize their trades is not by department, it's by division. So, for example, you would have your roofing division, your general construction division, or any additional trades that you specialize in. You would organize that as a division, and then your departments would be organized into a more linear way in order to maintain the margins a lot slimmer. So you would want to have a, let's say, salesperson that could sell construction or roofing if you want to keep that margin slim for operating overhead. The same thing, whoever's like the admin person, the operations manager, they have to understand multiple trades. I wouldn't like do it singular right in the building phase, just if it's going to increase your overhead, and it might make your construction side decrease unless that's what you're looking for. However, in my experience, a lot of my clients right now who are doing other trades outside of roofing are able to keep a lot more busy just because of what's happening in the economy. It's just great to diversify. That's what I've seen happening. That's what I've experienced so far. So those are just my suggestions for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Let's see, Nicole.
Hi. I really like the fact that you said about the being able to validate the contract from our ends because our business is growing so fast. Our sales reps are bringing in so many jobs that we just really want to make sure that the jobs and the projects that we do are still showing that communication and being able to give that value that our company gives. So being able to select the projects, that's great. I really like them.
I love that. Yeah, it's a great way to separate the jobs that are not profitable before you accept the liability that comes with doing them. So,
Yes,
and it also lets you know what you have to do to train your employees better. Thank you
most
so much for
definitely.
sharing.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we'll take one more person to join to share really quick with us. Who wants to share? Joe Bell.
Hello,
Hi,
can you hear me?
Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, some big takeaways for me is assuring that communication is and transparency is fluent with the customer experience, and a lot of that stuff can be um, definitely tackled head on with the pre-build process. And I think that handoff process is extremely crucial in making sure that expectations from the client end to execution is done um, end to end and efficiently. So that's a big takeaway for me because I think that that's a big piece of what's going to get you those reviews and more client retention as you know things come up, right? As you're hit with hailstorms, etc. Um, yeah, so that was big. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joy. I appreciate you. Thank you for such a great answer. Alrighty, so we're gonna go through the build process. If you have won anything, make sure that you send the message to the host and panelist chat. Um, and we'll help you guys out. Jason, my takeaway is that I need to sign up with 411 to make sure processes and details stay on track and are implemented. Yes, awesome. I would love to have you as part of the team. Thank you so much, Jason. Remember, October 16th through the 18th, or use that link to book a meeting with me. Your presentation materials are fantastic. Coming from an insurance sales background, having consistency in this process is important. I totally agree. You know, I see so many people succeed without having presentation materials, but then they're not able to duplicate that success and truly, truly build out that team. So it's just how you're going to empower your team to also be successful. Adam said, I'm looking forward to using your hierarchy structure to ensure we have the proper management in the designated areas and not to have an overload of workers not needed. honestly, Adam, the second part of what you just said is just as important as the first part. Having the right people in the right place, but also not spreading yourself too thin when it comes to the actual overhead that you're actually taking on for the business. So important. Throughout the entire insurance process, do you recommend communication happen through the sales rep or happen through the specific department that the job status is in? Blake, my recommendation is to make it part of the department. So for example, when I have clients who do primarily insurance, as part of their operations, they typically will have like a customer service slash claims communication manager who will be responsible for communicating with the insurance company, communicating with the client, and just managing that communication in between all of them. Lakesh Lishka, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. That one is not available for the giveaway. It's the commercial, the insurance, or the residential. Alrighty. So I'm gonna finish up with the build process, and take you guys through that. So, the build process, this is executing the project that was sold with all expectations being clearly defined, so our field team can meet / exceed them with superior service and attention to detail. So production managers this person is responsible for troubleshooting any major issues, and this person is going to be communicating with the project manager as necessary through the build process. Now, there's some companies who have sales reps as the project managers, and then there's some companies who have enough of a production department and they have project managers who are just working in production. It depends on your company size, your company revenue, your company structure. The way it's written in this manual, it could be either the salesperson who's doing project management or the project manager who's only focused on production. And the production manager is also supposed to create an end of day report to understand where all your jobs are at. So again, some of these things change as you have higher volume, and as you're lower and may not be as frequent when you have lower volume. The project manager is responsible to take in progress check-in photos throughout the build process, and take any progress photos throughout the day. The crew is responsible for communicating any material shortages or overages and complete the build process per local building codes and manufacturer guidelines. For the materials sheet, I even have a way to have it outlined where you have an emergency materials log. And this will allow you to document what crew is constantly going over materials by how much, and also give you have an underage sheet. So when materials turned in, you also know and can incentivize your production staff, team members, to make sure that they're building jobs efficiently. We can have a whole long talk about that, but for the sake of time, keep it going for you guys. So simple things like telling the project manager what the expectations are for a job site setup. So obviously we want to greet and engage the client to prepare for this build. We're going to complete the full scope of work, prepare the job for the build, triple check the material accuracy that was delivered, maintain a clean job site during the build process, prepare the neighbors for an increase of noise traffic during the build day. This is a big one. I've had clients win over entire neighborhoods by just having a series of door hangers. So we recommend having production door hangers that are not necessarily sales related, to build that rapport with the client without actually talking to them. So typically what that looks like is you have a door hanger a week before that says, or a few days before, whatever, I don't know what your time frames are specifically for your builds, but just in advance that says this X, Y, and Z day, there's going to be a little louder noise in the neighborhood because we're going to be working in the area. And it's just a nice notice that I recommend going out a few days before. or at least 2 days before, just to give people an advance notice. Then on the day of the build, letting them know construction in progress. And then when the job is completed, letting them know construction has been completed in the area, and using that as the opportunity to ask for the inspection. So remember, the way that I believe in sales is value, 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 ask for the close. Value, 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 ask for the sale. So it's always providing more than what you're giving. So that's one reason why your door hangers can be used as a sales strategy more effectively. Instead of just, maybe you're not getting as great results when the job's in progress because your team is not adding value ahead of time and during that job being in progress. So preparing the neighbors for an increase of traffic. Here in Florida, we have very strict permitting, so you have to post a permit on site, on every job site. Some places require it, some do not. Being prepared for all inspections. We have 4 build inspections by local building codes here in Florida on each and every roof, especially here in South Florida. And then it's so crazy. They have people just driving around inspecting every job site. So here, it's mandatory to be wearing your harness over anything over a 412. So I've seen people get away with it in other areas. You need to be informed of how your local area is. These fines can range from anywhere from $20,000 to $150,000 is what I've heard and what I've seen. So figure out how you're going to make sure that you're covering yourself as a company and you're not going to have huge fines that you maybe can't even afford to pay. And then again, these are just a basic arrival checklist. One thing that I talk about is safety. When the crew is not being safe, and your inspection and your team members are not being safe, as a business owner, you run that liability of them making a mistake, of them not being safe. Roofing is like the 3rd or 4th deadliest job in America as of right now. And unfortunately, I have so many friends in the industry, and when I log on this year alone, I've had like 4 or 5 that are my friends on Facebook that have had bad accidents, either themselves, their crews, or one of their sales reps. So job site safety, if you're an owner and you have multiple sales reps, once a week, I would, or, honestly, once a week, I would have them sign a safety training saying, I've gone through safety training this week that explains how to get on and off the ladder, what I should be doing, how I should get on and off the roof safely, how I should inspect the roof safely. Just more things to create more security for your team. It'll also work with great accident prevention, but it'll also work with risk management as a company, and covering yourselves and making sure that if something does happen, look, I've done my job. I've tried to keep them safe as possible. I stress this every week on a weekly basis. When they come in for a commission check, hand them the safety sheet. Hey, time for your safety sheet. Make sure, do you read, understand it? Like making sure that this is a process even in your company. So homeowner communication throughout the build process, also very important. And we do have a checklist for that. Change orders always need to be spoken about in advance. Okay, so change orders shouldn't, the first time a client hears about change orders shouldn't be when they're getting told they have one. It should be earlier on during the pre-production process and in that call, as well as being touched on in the sales process. So again, guys, I'm just sharing very brief, like I'm trying to put together and give you as much information in 2 hours, but this is my 3-day event. It's called the 411 Roofing Systems class. It is my last one for this year. I'm not going to be doing another one till probably March myself. For those of you who don't know, I'm super pregnant. So I'm 5.5 months pregnant. I'm doing this last class before I go on maternity leave, and then I'll be coming back. If you want to book a meeting to learn more, I do have a special just for all of you guys. Everything that we've gone through today is just overviews of what I teach, but honestly, I deep dive into these things, and my core focus is, if you hear everything I'm saying, it's all practical information, it's all realistic, it applies to pretty much everyone, because Oliver says, I guess you are not shingle, LOL. Honestly, there's nothing that I'm saying that is like far-fetched, that's far out, or honest, or something that you don't already know. You're just maybe not communicating it to your team. You maybe just don't have a good process in place. And so my job has been to figure out the gaps from like what an owner knows, or maybe someone who's been in the industry for a long time knows, to what a team member actually gets to see, how people are onboarded. When I started in the industry, it was really hard. Like I just was kind of thrown into it. And I was just coming into the technology side, and I really wanted to understand roofing, because the way that I feel about sales is I really want to understand the people that I work with. And the only reason I started digging into this industry and trying to learn it, I had to get educated for free on YouTube University. So, I don't want people to continue to have to learn that way. I want your company to be professionally represented, and for you guys to truly, truly be proud of everything that you're accomplishing. So, special offer. There's me as blonde. I have black hair now. But who knows what's gonna happen next week. It's usually $5,000. As a thank you to all of you guys for sitting through this today. Hopefully you've gotten some value out of this. Hopefully you're going to be able to apply this information to your business. And for those of you who want to work with me on it, who want more information and really want to experience this, if you're ready to take a leap forward and get your company where you want it to be, take advantage of this offer, go ahead, use this QR code, and you'll be able to get all of the information that you need. So it includes 2 seats. Monday, I go through company structure, through vision, through mission, and setting up your hierarchy. I mean, the first day. The second day, I go through sales process and protocols and just focus fully on that. And talk about pre-build. And then the last day, I talk about production and the insurance claims process. Again, it's all process oriented. I do have basic educational manuals and things like that, which you guys can also book a call and order from us. But the class is more focused on process, execution, creation, and structure. And I'm going to play a quick testimonial for you guys. And then we're
While
going to
Liz is setting that up, we're also going to have Nick go ahead and get set up to do a roof art demo. There was a lot of questions that we didn't get to yet. We are going to extend the webinar, so if you're able to stay on, just stay on for a few more minutes, and then we're going to be able to do more Q&A time, and that'll be great. So this last few things we'll be doing will be like the next 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to get more deep diving into your questions, bring as much value as we can. So definitely stay on if you can. Thank you.
Heard enough. I'm Eric Neal with Neal & Son Roofing. We came down to the SOP training in Florida, and I got to say, it's one of the best investments our company's ever made. We've learned so much. Being able to meet the team here at Business 411 was amazing. Truly people that are trying to do things the right way. They want to help you out with your business, and they prioritize your foundation first. So we're super excited to head back to Pittsburgh, start working on getting our foundation and everything in a row, and take this thing to the moon. It's truly a game changer. Being down here has been really great for us. It's going to take us to a whole other level. I don't think anybody in the country is going to be able to compete with us. So once we implement what we've got throughout the class and with Business 401, no one's going to be able to touch our company.
What's one key takeaway that you guys are really excited to implement as soon as you get back?
Mainly learning about keeping tasks and roles in certain departments and certain job descriptions. Right now, we're kind of a three-headed monster of who's doing what, but we're all kind of meshing into other people's responsibilities. By learning a little bit more about the most efficient way to structure your company and to distribute your tasks, I feel like there's going to be much more clarity and much more efficiency. And in doing that, you're able to make more money and not lose your mind as much. So I'm looking forward to being able to implement that. For me, it really just comes down to filling our gaps. Like with the SOP, it just fills up the gaps that you're all wanting to fill within your company in order to take a company to the next level.
When you came here, what were you looking to learn and get out of this most, and did you exceed your expectations?
Yeah, I'm our money guy, so paying to come to this, I was a little bit nervous to what we were going to get. I would come back and spend 10 times as much to come learn what we learned this week. It's totally worth the investment in your time. I think I was more expecting to just.
Well, as you guys know, we have over 100 different great reviews on our classes. So we're gonna get back into Q&A. I'm gonna hand it over to Nick to do a brief a demo of the roof art tool for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about the tool as well. Thank you guys. Let me give you screen sharing access, Nick, and if you want to go ahead and turn on your camera.
While Liz is doing that with Nick, I just want to mention we had so many questions throughout the chat today asking what CRM is going to work for me. How can I implement these processes? One of the big reasons that we partnered with Roofer on this webinar was because they can take a lot of these action items and a lot of these steps that we've created and put it directly into the Roofer CRM that you'll be able to use and implement with your whole team. So that's why we're really excited to show you how it all comes together with this demo from Nick.
Awesome. Super great to meet you all. And thanks, Liz, and everybody at Business 401 for this awesome demo. I learned so much, and I've been, like I said, in the industry for a long, long time. So there we go. I got my camera on. You can see my face. So awesome. So want to really quickly just do a quick overview of what Roofer has to offer. Again, Roofer is an all-in-one sales platform that brings you from lead acquisition all the way to invoices and getting things paid and everything in between, including our CRM. So I'll give you a quick overview on what we can do, what we can offer, and a lot of it's going to be related back to what we were talking about just now with everything. I got my notes ready to bring everything up, so I'll start it off. A big part of what Liz was talking about was separating yourself from the competition. And this doesn't matter if you're a $15 million company or someone in people I saw in the chat that just started. You want to be able to separate yourself from the competition because there's so much competition out there. So starting off on lead acquisition, what are you doing? One of the most Googled things out there by homeowners looking for a new roof is how much does my roof cost? And I'm sure a lot of you guys in the chat probably have had people phone you up on the just give you a call and say, hey, I got a 2,000 square foot house. Approximately how much would my roof cost? And you're always like, well, yeah, there's a lot more information I need to get. But in every other industry, whether it's car, realtors and everything else, you are able to get prices up front. People want a window shop. So what we have is to help out with that is our instant estimator tool. Now, our instant estimator tool is really awesome because you can put it directly on your website. I'll share my dad's website right here and be able to see that right off the bat. So get an estimate in 30 seconds. You could also put it on your Facebook where you can actually, or Instagram and everything else. Your door hangers, like Liz was saying, your yard signs, flyers for realtors and property management companies who always need quotes on the fly, and start building out that relationship. And how that tool works is basically if someone clicks on it, they can go in through this flow. And a lot of these questions you could turn on or off, and this works for both residential and commercial. And once they type in their address, it's going to zoom directly in on that job. Now, this is going to give them a nice homeowners a nice dopamine kick, be like, oh, this is cool. This company's a little bit different. And then from here, we're going to ask the same qualification questions that we typically ask on the phone. So stuff like, Mrs. Jones, how steep is your roof? What's on there right now? What would you like to go back with? As you see, those options shrink because it only shows what you're offering. When would you like it done, and are you interested in financing? They could then write things in like, please help, it's leaking in my son's room. And then we tease them a little bit. We say, where should we send your estimates? Because that's what they came here for. We're not asking for their information very upfront, but we're not going to give anything away for free unless we get something back in return. So what do we want? We do want their information so we can market them. And once they click on that, everything that you offer shows up automatically for you. From repairs to rejuvenation to shingles to metal, anything that can be measured by square footage is up there right away. And you can do ranges or solid pricing. I recommend ranges, gives you a little bit more room to wiggle. Financing or no financing, and you could apply for right there. It's going to send an immediate communication to you and your team. You could have carousel of photos, book a meeting, a little bit about you or the sales reps and everything else, and they can click on one or multiple. If you have company cam projects or socials, I recommend putting those in as well. We have a direct integration there. Now that lead comes directly in and we can create as many links as we want. And I know that I was chatting with Ariel a lot at some of the events that we have done together. And one of the cool things is really understanding your performance on where your leads are coming from and understanding your business, like Liz was saying. So one of the cool parts about that is being able to track each one of those leads through our system. So once that lead goes in, you can have that directly into your job board. So with the job board there, let the internet catch up a little bit for me. With the job board live, you can see a new lead came in. This is a customizable job board that we can work you with up to 3 different pipelines in there. So if you're multi-faceted there, no pun intended, you could open that up. As you can see, I have tasks already built in. Liz was talking about building structure for your company. So creating a good sales process with around 7 to 8 categories and then having subcategories within that automated to make sure that everything is done properly is really important. Helps with replicability. Whoa, that was hard to say. And also training and onboarding new people. Allows you to get moving faster. And from there, we also have the instant estimate information here. So now when we're calling back and answering that customer's questions, first of all, they get prices up front, but we can call them back quickly. Speed to lead is imperative nowadays. People want things quick. We can blame Amazon all we want, but they do want things quick. And like Liz was saying, providing compassion, solving the problems, separating yourself from the competition. This is a great way of doing it because I can now see everything that that customer clicked on. So instead of calling them back and saying, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, how steep is your roof? What's on there?" etc., like every other roofing company is, change it. Match their urgency with urgency. So jump in and go, "Hey, Mr. Jones, I noticed that your house was leaking and you got some problems. You want to go back with asphalt. You're interested in financing and it's pretty urgent. I saw you're interested in standing seam, the Landmark Pro, and the maintenance. Not a problem. Let me get somebody out there right away for you. I can quickly schedule a job with our calendars. Spoiler alert, it's coming out very soon. So we have that right there. And then I can assign that job detail directly over to the next person. So I can move this over to Cameron, one of my sales reps, move it in appointment scheduled, and automatically have that all move in with it. Now, what's cool, new stage happens, which means new tasks are open as well. So you can see how things are going along throughout that job. And throughout that process, you can have automated emails, texts, and everything going out to them at the same time. Communication is key, as Liz was saying. Now, what's great about us, we have an all-in-one system. So everything's in the tool for one price, one subscription. We also have reports. So you could either order a report from us. It's $12 flat, no matter how big, no matter how small of a building, commercial, residential, doesn't matter, and get back to you in as low as 2 hours or less, guaranteed. We also have our DIY tool, which is super powerful as well. So if you want to get things done quicker and easier, not a problem. So we have the ability to choose from free images or DIY images, which is anywhere from $2 to $3.50. And I'll do a quick job, not a good job, but you can see really quickly, I got a 90-degree snap tool that snaps those into place, and I can quickly draw this roof out. So if I'm on the other end of the phone and I want to get a quick quote out to the customer, if I'm door knocking and a customer comes out and says, "I do want a formal quote," you're able to do this on the fly and get an accurate representation of what that roof is going to be, right down to the numbers and everything else like that. This is going to really blow people away. And it's like catnip for homeowners. If anybody here does home shows, I highly recommend them. This is a great way to get people coming to your booth and be able to do quotes. I did a home show with my dad up in Toronto, Canada. And what he did is we had a TV at the front of the booth saying, "Get a quote for your house in 30 seconds. He also does carpentry. So he had a bunch of like charcuterie boards and stuff like that there. And you got one entry for getting an instant quote and 2 entries for a formal bid. So you could add that all in. We even have that pitch tool right here. So I'll just quickly show you what our reports look like. They're back to you instantly if you do a DIY. Like I said, if you order them from us, we're going to give you a premium report every time in under 2 hours with the Elite plan. You can put your logo on there, a nice breakdown of everything, including the diagram, length measurement report, area measurement report, pitch and direction report summary, as well as material calculations, which is nice and easy, showing you the shingle starters, ice and water, synthetic capping, drip edge and valley for the major five brands in the industry. Now, when we go back into here, I could see at a quick glance if I'm a manager or a sales rep exactly what's going on with this job card, what's in there with a report in there. And the next steps is obviously creating a proposal. With our tool, speed to lead is imperative. We want to get things out in front of them really quickly. So it's very easy to click on that address that you've already measured or you've gotten in. Pick one of the templates that you have built. We have a free implementation team as well. So that's including your subscription. We will build all these templates with you, build up all your automations, and help you run your company effortlessly and quickly. Once you click on that use a template, in the next 3 seconds, it's going to pull all those values directly over from that measurement report and auto-populate that in. So in that 3 seconds, I was able to create a good, better, best, or in this case, a best, better, good, with upgrades all built in there. Now I have, as you can see, all the values have been auto-populated. The only thing I have to add in is the venting. I even have upgrades built in. And one of the things I love about this is what Liz was talking about is knowing your profitability and your margins. We can set default and floor profitability. So we have profitability guardrails for you owners that want to make sure that everything's locked in. So if I have a sales rep that's trying to get in there and get that job sold, it's not going to let them. As you can see, it will block them from that. Discounts, all that fun stuff, and we can go from there. Now, our proposals are beautiful. You can have section headings and everything built out there. We have everything kind of set up for you, ready to rock and roll, and we're ready to preview and send. So if I'm sitting in front of the homeowner with my iPad, my laptop, my phone, I can do a beautiful presentation to open up and really kind of provide education and transparency, provide that value that you can talk to and that you could leave behind. Shout out to, I know John Starry was in the webinar chat there. This actual design of this cover was inspired by him. He wanted one on an angle. So there you go, John. We could put cover photos directly from Company Cam, from Google Earth, as this one is, and everything else. Your logos. We build out stuff just like this, an about page, about us page, to really provide value on who I am as a company and what we do. Sell on you before you sell on the product. And then we have our breakdown of best, better, good, where everything is broken down throughout this with section headings, descriptions, and everything else, and upgrades, really providing options to people. There's a couple cool stats here that if you provide 3 or more options, especially 3 or more upgrades, customers are picking 1.8 on average. And 3 or more options increases your closing percentage as well, because you're breaking everything down. And doing best, better, good is a great way to show value instead of a good, better, best, because you're taking away stuff from the customer every time that they go down. So mentally, they're going to want to stick with that. Then we have the brochures to show the specs, the warranties. You know what you can do? You can put in some of those education systems that Liz and her team have as PDFs in here to really kind of help out that homeowner understand a little bit more on that. You can build out as much as you want. Photos marked up and annotated them in there. Contracts with initials and everything built in. Like Liz was saying, you need to protect yourself and give yourself information. Contracts, all that stuff built in as well. And if the customer is ready to sign on the spot, we have a sign up now button, which is going to move right away for it. Now, this is a live document, so it's no need for it to load, and you can see the pricing change in real time. So if the customer is looking, they don't have to do mental math, and mental math is it's honestly the death of a lot of upgrades there. So this is going to help you out. They can click on if they want blue colors for the shingles. That's a Canadian spelling. I apologize, but I got to type it in or draw it in for signatures, and then it moves like a legal doc directly through there. So you can make sure that everything is signed and you're protected and they're protected along the way. Now, as we know, not everybody's going to close on the spot, so we could also send this out via email. Send this directly out. We have templates that are built in with dynamic fields, so you can personalize that right off the spot and send that directly out to the customer. What's awesome about this is really my favorite part, is the follow-up stuff. Liz said, and there we had the rule of 7, how many touches there. 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls. You want to know what's going on. So if that customer views your quote, you're going to be told, because it's going to email you right away saying Mrs. Jones is looking at your quote. After that, it's going to show you each and every time they view the quote, date stamps, time stamps, and everything else. And even if they haven't looked at the quote. So it changes up your flow now. You're not following up for the sake of following up because I know I have to follow up. You're following up with purpose. You're more consultative. You're helping them out, like Liz was saying. So now instead of saying, Mrs. Jones, have you looked at that quote yet? Do you have any questions? Be more consultative. Mrs. Jones, I saw you looked at the quote a bunch of times there. Is there anything I could help clarify for you? Or if they haven't looked at the quote, Mrs. Jones, I noticed you haven't opened that quote up yet. Do you want to go open it with me on the phone? We can go over it together. This is going to really help out. And the other part is the automations. We can set up automations for text and email so that if something sits in your proposal sent category for 4 days, 7 days, whatever you want, it will send an automatic reminder so that you can continue to have your sales force look forward and continue to go and drum up more business and quote more jobs and let the system sell for you and follow up for you behind you. So if somebody does reply, they raise their hand and then you go back and circle back for them. So it allows you to continue to move forward and always making sure that you have that. As you can see, the automations moved it directly over. We have that all here. And once we're in this situation here, I can go into a one proposal and I can order material. I can create the material order. It's actually got all the one proposal and all the selections already built in. You're going to move that all over to here, and it's going to auto-populate that material order. I could pick my supplier that I want to send it to, my branch location, customize the colors in here, set up that I want rooftop delivery and any other notes, and set it up. Now we're talking about how Liz has the breakdown of the different sections of your company when you're growing. So you can have the delivery be the office, job, or pick up at branch. Those are all pre-populated. So we're going to do job site. I have my point in contact who's going to be my production manager there. I have their preferred contact method, the delivery date of when I want it dropped off, and the time. I can go over, email this out directly to them and have my make sure my reps is in there, and I could put in any additional information I need. Now that's sent back, and I get everything off and running from there. And we could also do invoices as well. Same flow works where you can click on the actual job that was selected. So everything that that customer picked is automatically put into the invoice for you. No missing things, no recalculating things. You could set a due date in for payment here. You see it's in the past, it marks it as past due. If it's in the full future, we're ready to send. We can send that out to them, and we could also collect payment. If you're collecting payment from credit card and ACH, we also do that. We have some of the best rates in the industry, 2.8% on credit card and 0.5% on ACH with a max of $40. We can also do record manual payment there too. So if we're going to do a say a check for a deposit and it was $10,000, I could write this as deposit here. This will update my thing to partial payment. And down here, I can see that it was paid on September 19th using a check and that it's a deposit. All that built directly in that system for you. So you can go from job, a lead capture, to tracking the job throughout the process, understanding my team's performance, booking appointments, everything else, all the way down to the nitty gritty, and to be able to track my team and understand what's going on. From the job metrics to my team leaderboard and close rates and qualified to close rates, to my lead acquisition and what my leads do throughout that process so I can understand both organic and paid leads throughout that platform. We have won and lost jobs, everything else, and a lot more stuff coming out. So if you do have any other questions, we're always here to help out. I just want to thank Liz and the team at Business 401 for another amazing class. Every time I sit into one of your talks, whether it's Ariel or Liz, I learn so much, and I've been in the industry for over 20 years. So thank you for doing what you guys do, and thank you for having us be a part of it as well. If you guys have any questions, hit us up at roofer.com.
Yeah, so we're actually gonna stay on for a few minutes. We still have over 100 people on here right now. So let's go through a few minutes of Q&A. So I know we had some uh questions in the chat. I don't know who's still on. So if you're still on and you had a question, do you mind just putting it in the chat? And if it's for Roof R, Nick will answer it. If it's about business, I'll answer it. Or if it's something he even has his advice on, he'll help you. Monica, thank you so much for this free training. We will see you guys in October. Thank you so much thank you for your time, and thank you for how much you give back. Thank you, Frank. That's very nice. I really appreciate that compliment. Okay.
Hey, everyone, if you enjoyed the content that we went over today, we would really appreciate if you guys could leave us a review. Liz is going to be putting up the QR codes to leave a review for us. So yeah, if you love the content, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a review on Google or Facebook. And thank you so much while we continue the Q&A. Thanks.
So sorry, let me see, where did I go? Is there a way to manage subcontractor agreements and COIs? Absolutely. Those are state specific though, Lewis. You really need to get with an attorney in your area to go through what needs to be on there legally. I don't recommend just purchasing something off of the internet or even a template when it comes to those kind of contracts. Jenna, do you have an example of the end of day progress report? Are the shortage and overages sheets available? I'm gonna go through those more into the class. Unfortunately, it's not something I'm gonna be able to pull up now and go through all of that, but yes, we do have those things. Question for you, Nick. Is RoofR automations automatically set up, or do you have to manually set them up?
Great question. We do have recommended by Roofer automation, so that is a quick click and it can add in right off the bat. And you have your implementation team to help you kind of see what best practices are across there and customer success team. But the triggers are automatic, so they can have them, their if and then statements. So if a proposal remains in X stage for 6 days, 12 hours, whatever the case is, then send email or text kind of deal. So we have that all built in there and we can help you build out throughout the process. Happy to help.
Cool. So, the next one is, okay, wait, sorry. Sorry, lost track. Does Roofar have integrations with ABC Supply and Pioneer?
Great question. Excited to announce that we do have an integration coming very soon with ABC Supply and some other major manufacturers. Not Pioneer yet, but other ones with 3 letters maybe, and and other ones that we all know about. But the ABC integration will be going live. We're actually in closed beta now with the select list of users. Should be going live in about a month or so.
Awesome. So, Jenna, the book that you're referring to, that's a class. So the classes are different from just our generic manuals. The generic manuals, you know, they are just general information. The owner information, the only one we sell as an independent manual is just the SOP. Other than that, everything else is part of a bundle with the classes. Jose, thank you for the information. Thank you. Please leave me a review if you can. Same thing for you, Boaz. I would really appreciate that. And Adrian and Lishka. Sorry, you're gonna have to tell me how to say your name. Let's see what else. Jorge, I'll be reaching out to my Roofar account manager. Saw some items from the presentation that I liked and we currently don't have, especially when building the invoice. Thank you guys for the class. Thank you guys. Seriously. I really enjoyed it and I'm sure Nick has a great time with you guys here too. Oh, whew. All right, let's keep it going. Does anybody have any other questions?
I think I saw one in there from Aaron. Any integration for a roofer? We do have a company cam integration, payments integration, financing integration with our friends at Goodleap, and soon to be ABC and some other suppliers to be named later. And Aaron, QuickBooks will be coming at end of month, into October. So we'll start our closed beta near the end of the month.
Don't forget, if you're still saying that you had a great class, please give us a review. Do you integrate with Hail Trace?
No, not yet, but there are partners and good friends of ours, so stay tuned for a future possibility there.
Awesome. He said thank you. Awesome. What else you guys got for us? No, ma'am. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Does Roofar help me with not just roof? We run a general contractor business.
Yeah, we have multiple pipelines that you can build out, so up to 3 different pipelines. It is roofing specific, but we have a lot of people using it for other things. We have people doing siding, windows, gutters, paving, and fencing, shockingly enough, in there. It is pretty customizable, but it is roofing focused. So my suggestion would be book a time with one of our team members, and we can dig in together to see what your needs and wants are and to see if we can facilitate it or not. Roof.
Oh, sorry, you can go.
No worries. Any plans for roofer to do exterior siding and interior measurements? At the moment, we are focusing on roofing, but siding may be coming up. Probably not in the near term, but we've had conversations about it. Interior measurements, that's just not on the roadmap right now. We're focusing mostly on roofing and exterior stuff. We can do gutter measurements though, and we can definitely help out with that. And Giovanni, we have integration with QuickBooks coming very soon. It's in closed beta in the next 2 weeks, and it will be released soon.
Awesome. Alrighty. Give us a thumbs up if you have no more questions for us. Great information. Awesome. Please leave us a review, Jason. Those help out and get more people interested in our webinars. That way, the next time we host a webinar, we'll put one of your guys' reviews, and you can put, I had an awesome webinar with them. I learned so much. Truly, truly, truly helps us out as a business and getting more people to these classes. Believe it or not, you know, it's something that's not common information what we do yet. So trying to help as many people as we can. Do you do drug testing? Who, him or me?
I'm a roofer, so
Actually, I've never drug tested my employees. I don't know if I should. They all look stable enough to me. And Jason said he doesn't drug test his either. Oh, they probably all fail. Wow, that's crazy. I would be afraid as new owner since it's dangerous. Um, I mean, well, our job is pretty safe. They just sit on the desk all day. But I'm assuming if I was in roofing and I would drug test. I mean, I think it depends. I don't know any company who drug tests in this in like personally. Am I being too much of a hard A? You can answer that, Nick.
It depends on your internal philosophy, your code of conduct, and your core values. I know of roofing companies that do drug testing. My dad wasn't one of them. And it's like comes down to like how are you performing in work and stuff like that too. How are you building your culture? So I wouldn't say that you're being too much of a hard A. I would say it depends on what your company culture is and what you're looking for.
Yeah. Maybe you can have a drug-free environment. I mean, if I was really for that, I'd maybe even create like a whole tagline on it. You know, the only drug-free roofing company in your city. No, I'm just kidding, Doug. Corey Pate said, yeah, at the hospital. What was that in regards to? Thank you, Boaz, and thank you, Dainelise, for the reviews. That helps us out. Brooke said, thank you guys, Liz, LOL. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I say jokes, but they're not that funny. Um, alrighty. Anything else? Anything you guys can think of? If not, I'm gonna go have some coffee.
Love it. Liz, thanks so much for having us, and thanks for all the information too. It's just it never disappoint.
Awesome. Thank you guys. We're very, very happy to be partners with Roof R. Make sure you guys keep working with the Roof R team, the best in the industry. I appreciate you all. Have a nice day. Bye.